You know, we always got to clap when we first started.
It's tradition.
Smoke when I drink, it's tradition. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to apologize once again for another long wait, but we are back. Truth and Eazy. Follow your boy at Twitter. Truth is a champ 9. Where they can find you.
They can find me on Twitter, twitter.com/YCFlowEazy, SoundCloud YCFlowEazy, Instagram YCFlowEazy, and Snapchat YCFlowEazy. If for whatever reason you have the memory of a goldfish, you can always just go right into the description and find all the links and everything that you need right there. So that way you guys can follow us and stay up to date on everything we're doing and shit. But that's not what this video is about. We're not gonna, spend this whole video explaining what we've been doing. Nah, bruh. This is about Views, Drake's newest album, and I know this man's been wanting to talk about it for a while. So I'm gonna pass it over to him, and he's gonna talk a little bit about Views.
All right, Drake's Views, formerly known as Views from the 6. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's all the same thing. He announced the title about 2 years ago in the summertime when he was out on tour. He was flashing the 6, showing Rihanna's face. That's when he started generating the buzz that his next album was going to be Views from the 6. And finally, he decided to drop it. And I was really shocked. This is the first time ever that I was listening to a Drake album and I was not blown away and I was not convinced.
All right.
But before we dive into all that stuff, let's do our usual top and bottom. So, Eazy, what would you like to start off with?
I'm going to start off with my top.
You going to start off with your top?
Yeah.
All right.
Top 3 songs are what the fuck is that song?
See, as you can see, he really doesn't listen to that much because,
All right, hold on.
Yeah.
We got to do the little beep cut. Hold on. You know what I'm saying? What's that song? Where's it? Without me, without you?
You with me.
You got it. They ain't gonna see that.
All right.
So, for my number one song, not number one, but the first song in the list is You With Me. Main reason why I like this song is because I feel like it's a callback to like older Drake stuff, and I think a lot of this album is, but on this song in particular, I remember when I was first listening to it, I was just like, bro, this gives me like Club Paradise kind of vibes. Like it's like kind of like an older Drake kind of style. And what really makes this song for me is right towards the end when he like crescendos and starts singing loudly and stuff like that.
Up.
Yeah, when he's like, they try to cut the check so they can take this flow. Yeah, like that part was really dope. Like that part, I would not be surprised if there were a Party Next Door reference track for that song, at least for that particular part, because that reminded me so much of PND. But it worked really well in Drake's favor, and I think it's really good. Second track, and my favorite track on the entire project, is Feel No Ways. So I like this song not only because of the melodies and how the song just sounds in general, but more so its subject matter, because almost word for word I can relate to this song, and it's crazy how much I relate to this song and what he's talking about.
Speaking directly to you.
Exactly. When I first heard this song, my mouth dropped, and I'm just like, there's no way this nigga's saying this shit. It's like I was ghostwriting for him. You know what I'm saying? I just sent him some text messages like, yo, this is, this is what happened, and he just so happened to put it on a track. That shit kind of blew me away. And last song, I don't know why, but this song really sticks out to me and I love it. Controlla. Yeah. I don't know. I love Controlla.
It's a good song.
But what's your top?
My top, you named 2 out of the 3.
I think I know what the 2 are.
You With Me and Feel No Ways. And then my last track, it has to be Hype.
Hype?
I fucking love Hype.
Nah,
that's one of my go-to songs.
See, here's the reason why I don't fuck with Hype or Still Here.
No, Still Here, nah. Hype is a little bit better than Still Here.
The reason why I don't like those songs is because it feels like they should have been on If You're Reading This, and even if they were If You're Reading This, they would be weak tracks.
They would be mediocre compared to the songs that were on that
exactly.
mixtape.
They just felt like something that, if you're reading this, did just way better. That's why I didn't really fuck with them. I don't think they're that good.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I cannot agree with Hype. And I know a lot of people like Still Here or Hype. That's sort of like their go-tos or whatever, but I don't fuck with either of them, to be honest with you.
Because I feel like the majority of this album is just slow.
Yeah.
And just him singing. So when I hear that song, I'm like, finally, I want to hear him.
I see what you're saying, but at the same time, him rapping, if it's not like good rapping, then I couldn't really care less. But we're gonna head on over into the bottom tracks.
I'm gonna start it.
All right, good.
Bottom tracks. Child's Play.
Okay.
Child's Play is fucking corny as fuck.
Why you gotta fight with me at Cheesecake? You know I love to go there.
Why you acting light skinned? I was like, oh my god, why? This is not Drake. You know, this is not Drake, and I'm gonna dive a little bit more into that.
Yeah, I want to get into that too.
I'm gonna get into that. Child's Play, fucking the song with Party Next Door.
That song is bad. I don't care what you tell me. That song with P&D sucks. Massive.
What is it called?
I don't fucking remember.
Fuck.
I've played that shit probably a total of 3 times. That song
with you.
That
with
song
you.
is bad.
That song, I was very disappointed. When you have Drake and P&D on a track, it's just it's no question that it's gonna be a hit. Because you have Recognize, you have Over Here. It's like an earlier track from his old discography, and those two, they come correct when they're on a track together.
Yeah.
And listening to this song, I'm just like, there's nothing special going on.
That song is really bad.
It is just, it fell flat, and I was really disappointed. And my last track, I gotta go with Redemption. Redemption, I feel like it could have been a freebie, honestly. Mm-hmm. It's not album quality in my eye, and it definitely gets lost in the mix when you're listening to Hype and then Weston Road flows and then Redemption out of nowhere. So those 3 tracks, Child's Play, Redemption, With You, are bottom.
My bottom, I'm gonna cheat. Okay?
Cheat?
Yeah. My bottom is going to be every other song on the album that isn't Too Good and Fire and Desire. I think every other song on this project is not album worthy. I think every other song other than my top 3 and those 2 I just named are plainly not that good. They're not very interesting. They feel half-baked. They feel uninspired. Almost every song on this fucking album, which is a fucking long album, by the way, it just doesn't feel like this is Drake. You know, Drake's always felt hungry. He's always felt like he wanted to prove something. He's always felt like it always felt like he was improving and doing things. And like how I was saying earlier, how You With Me was like a callback to older Drake. Drake's never done that on an album. He's always been progressing forward, and in this album I feel like he took steps back. And a lot of people will probably say, well, what about Controlla and Dance or One Dance? You know, these are dancehall tracks. Drake's never done that. Okay, you have a point, but that's what, 2 songs out of a 20-track album? That's not innovation. He just threw in a little spice, that's all. And even then, I feel like I do really love One Dance and Controlla, like, don't get me wrong, but they're not great songs. Like, I can realize that Controlla is not a great song, but that doesn't stop me from enjoying it, you know what I mean? Because I look at music subjectively and objectively. So, subjectively, like, I really do like Controlla, but objectively, I can see that it's not, you know, technically a great song. That being said, though, it just feels like every song on this album just felt dead. Like, I think when he started it off with Keep the Family Close, I thought that was like a great opening track, and I was just like,
that caught me off guard.
Yeah,
I was not expecting him to sing, and then you hear the instrumentation in the hook.
Exactly. Wow. It kind of sounded like some Weekend shit to me, like the but I thought that was a great intro track, but it ends up kind of like I guess, misleading you into thinking that the album is going to go a certain direction, but it doesn't take that direction. Because from that, I was expecting crazy drops, some switch ups, Drake to be rapping and singing, and I was expecting a lot of interesting things to happen because that track was very interesting. But I never ever went back to that track. You know what I mean? And I can't really tell you why, but I just never really went back to it. And then like songs like 9 and Hype and Still Here, like what is supposed to be the tracks that build up the album and give it some excitement, I feel like fall extremely flat and do not do a great job at all.
9. What's the whole point of that song? I turned the 6 upside down, it's a 9 now.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? He wasted a good beat. I feel like he could have at least dropped the third verse and just ripped it, but he decided not to.
Here's the thing with views. This has never happened on a Drake project before, at least not to this extent. There are so many, and I mean, you don't even have to cherry pick. Almost every song has that corny fucking line where you're just like, you
chain go chain, like some shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Chaining Tatum, my chain go dang-a-lang, you like to fight with me at Cheesecake. Like,
I group all of my DMs.
He said, what these bitches want from me, nigga? On some DMX shit, I group DM my exes. Like,
you toying with it like Happy Meal.
Like, so many times on this project he does this. He has never done this before.
Never.
I don't know what the fuck happened. Who the fuck is in this nigga's camp that's saying, that was a hot bar right there, Drake.
That was excellent. That was super.
You know what, Aubrey? Yes.
Great job.
Matter of fact, let me hear it again.
Check this out. I'm gonna hit you with something.
All right.
And it really caught me by surprise. You know how many writers this dude had on this album? I'm gonna give you 2 clues. All right. Number 1, more writers than Beyonce.
Okay.
And number 2 is giving it away. Kobe's career high.
81.
81. 81 writers.
This nigga needs some more ghostwriters. Yo, bring Quentin
on
back.
this album.
Bring
81.
Hashtag bring Quentin back. We need it.
I saw that number and my mouth fucking dropped. This album is the definition of quantity over quality. Yeah. Big time. Yeah. When I saw the track list, 20 tracks, good shit. You owe us because it's been a good 2 years since you dropped an album.
And I remember you getting mad excited because when he was on OVO radio, he was just like, it's not a short ting, it's not a short ting.
I was fucking happy. I see the track list. I was fucking pissed when I saw Hotline Bling.
I remember that.
Number 20, Hotline Bling.
I remember when you saw Hotline Bling, you're like, this album's fucking trash. I don't know why the fuck this man decided. Like, Hotline Bling does not belong on that album.
That came out last July, and you're dropping an album in April of 2016.
I think you mentioned it before, but that shit reminded me of The Weeknd when we saw Beauty Behind the Madness, and we heard 4 or 5 of the tracks already, and Often was out for like a fucking year.
Yeah. When it comes to this album, there's a few songs that I heard before that people probably haven't heard, but obviously Hotline Bling's number 1. Yeah. You have Faithful, which was updated on the album, thank God. You had Pop Style.
I want to talk about Faithful.
You had Pop Style, and I didn't care if he dropped Jay and Kanye's verse because I thought it was okay. And then you had One Dance, and then you had Controlla. I'm like, so it's 15 songs that I haven't even heard from. 5 songs already been played out, so I was disappointed.
Okay, so first I'll talk about Still Here real quick. Still Here, like, I feel like every song on this album almost is like kind of bad, but I feel like Still Here and a song with P&D are like really bad.
With You.
Yeah, I feel like those songs like dip below the standard of quality. Main reason why is Pimp C's verse.
That was totally random.
That was the most shoehorn thing I've ever seen in hip-hop history.
What was the last thing Pimp C said? I don't fuck with anybody
but Bun.
And then Drake spitting. You would think it's all mine.
Like, the shit that Pimp C is saying on that on that track relates nothing to the rest of the song. He just threw in the feature to have like a featuring Pimp C kind of thing. I don't know what's up.
He's from Houston, so I feel like him throwing in that little verse was paying homage to H-Town. But for that particular track, there was no need because it just does not make sense.
Like you wasted a verse from a legend that is no longer with us. Like, why would you do that, man? Like, that was like one of the things where I was just like, okay, I can't agree with this like at all. Like, I don't think he really fit that production style that well. And of course, his subject matter had nothing to do with the rest of the song.
Talk like you got the juice and the squeeze.
Like, the rest of the song is actually pretty good. I kind of like it. But that beginning part with Pimp C,
Division saved that song.
Division went in.
If you guys haven't heard of Division, please check out his debut album, September 5th. It is phenomenal. Check them out.
And I want to talk about Pop Style. Okay. So y'all know I'm a big Kanye West fan, but that's not even what this is about. What this is about is Drake removing what I can only assume would be a lot of features on this album in order to put more of himself on there. Why? I can't really tell you. But he took out Jay-Z's little part, the little 2 lines, and Kanye's entire verse.
Yeah.
And then on Controlla, he took out Popcon's verse on Controlla and put something else out of his own. And I think that was a huge, grave mistake, and why a lot of people feel like this album's not that good, because this album fucking drags. When you're listening to this album from start to finish, it drags so fucking bad. And I think one of the main reasons is because you're hearing too much of Drake, and Drake's not switching it up. I feel like this has sort of the same syndrome that Born Sinner had from J. Cole, where it was just too much J. Cole, and it was too long, and it got too boring too fast.
Do you feel like he was trying to aim for another Take Care? Because I know Take Care was another 20-track
I know a lot of people consider Take Care to be his greatest work, so it makes sense why he would try to emulate that, but it just did not work.
Because you would think views, this is for his hometown. Like, he would take care of this album.
Yeah,
you know?
And that's another thing. Titling it Views and it really not having shit to do with Toronto.
He tried to make this album a cohesive one, but it doesn't flow right at all.
The only way I can see that he tried to make this cohesive in
Controlla
the slightest,
and One Dance.
Not even that. It's like at the end of some songs there'd be like a little thing that plays at the end and then it loops into the next song. Like, that is not cohesion. That's just making it like that's having a good transition from song to song. That's not cohesion. And Drake tried to say that this album represents Toronto in the winter, then summer, then winter.
I don't see it.
I don't.
Honestly, because you go from singing and then you go from rapping, and it's a roller coaster ride throughout this whole album. Like, it doesn't go from winter to summer.
I can see if it was like singing, and then you have like all the rapping tracks. Like, you have Pop Style, 9, fucking Still Here, Hype.
This
in the
album
middle
is scattered.
Or something like
it's scattered all over the place.
This really, like, here's what I said, like, after like my second or third time listening to this album. I was like, this album really feels like it's just like a collection of Drake songs, not like a Drake album. Like, if these were songs that he just dropped randomly throughout the next year or two, like, people would eat these songs up because they're good on their own. But when you put them into like an album, you're just like, this is not album quality.
It is not.
Especially for Drake. Whether you like Drake or not, you can always give him credit where in his quality. This really did not have much quality. It felt like Drake was bored most of the time. And I know he said that he and Oliver were taking like a lot of risks with this album. I don't really see it. There were some, cool little production things that they were doing, but other than that, Drake wasn't doing anything new. I felt like Oliver was trying to do some new things with his production, but it's nothing like groundbreaking. He really marketed this album as being new and being groundbreaking, and him, taking it back to the 6 and all that stuff. But I didn't feel any of that on this project.
It fell short in my eye, and like I said before, this is the first time that I wasn't so enthusiastic about an album that Drake drops. When Drake drops something, it's on repeat for a very long time.
Yeah.
This album, I don't like it. I don't really listen to it that much. I listen to a few songs here and there. This is an album that if I want to like dive into it, it's gonna have to grow on me.
This album is his worst project to date.
It is.
I'm gonna say
it is.
Yeah.
Do you think this might be like a downfall in his career? Because
Yeah,
I feel like when it comes to
that a little
when
bit.
it comes to Drake, you expect nothing but greatness out of him.
Yeah.
He keeps climbing up and up and up, setting the bar.
And that's been his career since like 2009, always going upward. And then this
views drops.
Yeah.
And all right, it sold 1 million first week, but
like we were talking about this a little bit earlier. By earlier, I mean like a week ago or something like that. But I think what this signifies is Drake isn't falling off commercially. In fact, he's probably doing better than ever. But he's falling off in the eyes of his fans and hip hop fans in general.
Yeah.
Now, I think it might be a little too much to say he's falling off of one bad project, because most artists would have at least one bad project in their library. It only makes sense. But I think Drake's gonna like learn from this. At least this is what I hope.
I hope so.
Because it kind of feels like his ego's a little bit out of whack. And that's very ironic because Kanye West is my favorite musician. But regardless, I think his ego, like he thinks he's at this untouchable place. And realistically, he is. I mean, he had somebody come out and literally prove that he used ghostwriters and nobody gave a fuck. So I get that he feels invincible and he feels untouchable. But at the same time, you gotta be hungry, man, because there's artists out here like Kanye West making every album like he's still, in Chicago making 5 beats a day for 3 summers. You know what I'm saying? Kanye's still doing that, There's a bunch of other artists like Chance the Rapper, for example, just dropped a mixtape. He's independent, no label backing, none of that shit. And that mixtape is fucking phenomenal, and it is leagues better than Views. Okay, I get you can't really compare the two different styles, whatever, I get it. But just in the terms of sheer quality, this album really, really fails. And
it's disappointing because over the past 2 years, he hops on other artists' tracks, views, and just spit in viciously, and then the album drops, and you're expecting it to be almost like If You're Reading This Is Too Late, and then you get this.
Like, I knew there was gonna be singing on there.
Yeah, but I didn't know it was gonna be the whole album, like 95% of it.
Like, I thought we were gonna see a shift in Drake. Like, when If You're Reading This dropped, I think it caught everybody by surprise. I think that is one of his best projects. I think it goes So Far Gone and Take Care. They can be flip-flopped. I think those 2 projects are really good. And then it goes If You're Reading This, and then his other works. I think this is even worse than Thank Me Later. Thank Me Later doesn't really hold up well, but you have to appreciate Thank Me Later for what it did.
For a debut album,
for what it did at the time, too.
Yeah.
It gave a lot of artists inspiration. So, this album...
I am highly disappointed in Drizzy Drake. He has a lot of music in the stash. He's going on tour this summer. I expect him to drop a fucking mixtape.
I don't know about all that.
No, because Views is a flop in my eye. I don't care. I need new music from Drake because I'm not convinced.
What I wanted to talk about, since you're talking about that, I think he is going to drop some new stuff and new interesting stuff because he is going on tour. And we watched SNL, and
there's no way he's gonna fucking sing on tour, because SNL,
that nigga sounded
one
trash.
Dance, front way, back way. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You cannot sing.
That was one of the worst performances I have ever seen. And what was even worse during that performance is you can tell he was trying to make a meme out of himself, like he did with Hotline Bling.
With the dance?
Yeah, with him dancing and shit. It was so cringy. And him
I thought he was more than a meme, man.
I don't know, man. This is very disappointing.
Cringeworthy.
I hope this doesn't signify the downfall of Drake, because I really do like him being, being that like superstar, being that like top spot, because I really do like most of his songs anyway.
Top five.
And to be honest, like, when you looked back on his career, everything he's accomplished in terms of sheer success, if you're looking at just success, you probably could consider him top 5 in terms of success. But like if his legacy goes down this route of views, that's gonna water that shit down. Just like Lil Wayne. No matter what the fuck you say, Lil Wayne is top 10. You can't refute this. But because of his very shaky area, post 2009, 2010.
I would say after Carter 3.
Yeah, probably after Carter 3.
Yeah.
So maybe 2009 around there. He started having like a shaky route. That's why a lot of people shit on Lil Wayne, don't consider him top anymore. But you can't deny the drought, fucking no ceilings, the Carter 1, 2, 3, all that shit. All the greatness gets overshadowed by the bad. And what I really want to say is, don't let this album, even though it's lackluster and not that great, don't let this album take away from Drake's legacy, because he has done great things. He has made great strides in music. He has shifted the culture, whether you think it's for the better or for the worse. He has done it. And I think it's for the better.
Drake did say that he plans on retiring at 35 on Weston Road Flow, so maybe this is like a trend. Maybe he is gonna take like a sit back and just kind of act like Lil Wayne, you know, like not try as hard, but people still feed into it and still buy it, still listen to his music at the end of the day. I hope he doesn't go down that route, but he's almost there, and he feels like any little thing that I can drop, people are gonna buy it, people are gonna listen to it. So yeah,
I think more than that though, I don't think Drake would do that. I think he has
I don't think he would either, but you know.
I think he has a lot more respect for himself, and I can tell, like, Drake loves hip-hop, he loves music, he loves the culture, almost a little bit too much. People, you know, criticize him for being a culture vulture, essentially seeing like things that are up and coming and just like sort of jacking that and using it as own, whatever, however way you want to look at it. You can tell there's a genuine love there, and I don't think he wants to taint that, you know what I mean? I don't think he would do that. I think he is going to progress forward, and I think he is going to redeem himself. I hope anyway. But what did you guys think of Views? This was going back to our old ways in the car, almost 30 minutes.
This is how we first started. We started with, if you're reading this too late, now we're back in the same location talking about his 4th album, Views. Before we wrap this up, Eazy's gonna let you guys know a little something.
So, we've been having something in the works, all right? And I think it's gonna be very exciting. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. But essentially, your boy Eazy and your boy Truth are gonna be starting our own podcast / radio show called Truth and Eazy Radio. So this podcast is going to be us talking about music, so maybe talking about views more in depth, like if we just listened to an album, giving our first reactions on it. So like the Chance review is probably not going to come out for another week or so while we listen to it and let it digest, whereas if it's on our podcast, we'll talk about it, so you guys get a little bit of an early look on that. Talking about sports, NBA is the one that I follow the most. But come NFL season, I'm gonna try to get into NFL for the podcast. I'll have him help me out and shit. But you know, talk about some sports here and there. But it's gonna mainly be around music and maybe movies that we saw, you know, whatever shit like that. You know, it's like random shit kicking the shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that should be pretty entertaining. I want to get that up weekly, but we have more things to do behind the scenes before that goes live. As far as the older videos that I was talking to you guys about before.
Yes, the throwback videos. We did record 4 videos.
Yeah.
We did Drake's Take Care, Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City. We did J. Cole's Born Sinner, I believe. And what was the last one? I believe it was 3, but we were experiencing some technical difficulties, so we're gonna have to rework the videos again. So we'll definitely update you guys as soon as we can.
So yeah, follow us on Twitter, where he's probably most active. I'm not too active.
Yeah, I'm gonna update you guys on the latest hip hop stuff. So check me out on Twitter. Truth is a chim.
You can check us out on Instagram. I don't really do anything other than spam selfies. So if you're trying to, you know what I'm saying, get a look at the boy. I'm single. You know what I'm saying? But Snapchat is where you'll find me the most. I live on Snapchat. So YC Flow Eazy, add me there. And I also live on SoundCloud. I got a new song up on SoundCloud too. Y'all can check that out. Working on a mixtape too, by the way. Flaming, but I will update you guys more on that later. But yeah, that was our review of Views. We hope you all enjoyed it, and we're gonna catch you in the next video. Peace
out.